My mind is a dark place, so I took meds at a young age. I hate life and it ain't right that I gotta deal with this pain. I'm a misfit, never fit in with the crowd, so I built up this rage. So I wrote on this notepad, flowed fast, then filled up the page. I took a stand and I made demands and I made this music happen. Spoke out to fans and I packed the stance and I did it all while I'm rapping. You ain't gonna knock me down, I got the crown, and I got a flow that is so profound. They step to me and get thrown around, and they chant mad loud when I play for crowds. Play my voice through speaker systems, hear that noise and it piques the interest. Took a lot of years and I had to invest. Money stacks high cause I count the interest. I do this shit for a reason. I took a dream I believed in. I made it here by facing fears and I'm still breathing. I've been going through the motions, hard to stay focused. I've been on this road for way too long. I try to run away, but I cannot escape all the demons that I'm running from. Give me a chance and I'll take it. Give me a heart without hatred. Give me a place I feel safe in. A place that feels like home.
Why you gotta test my strength? So many drinks that I might just sink. Feeling like Slim Shady throwing up in the sink. I ain't had mom's spaghetti since I was 14. Difficult to live with everything that I've seen. Really wish I could've saw my brother get clean. Started from the bottom with a couple of motherfuckers and never reciprocated the love that I gave them. Can't kill Abel and they shed blood, so how the fuck could I ever trust major labels? I've been fatal since the baby cradle. Started drumming as a youngin', putting food on the table. Switching my genres like all my idols. R.I.P. to X, don't live Chester. I was raising that belt of Bibles, and I behave because of bells and Bibles. Only through struggle have I found rest. Tired of feeling depressed, so I invest. Plug up the mic and I write from that muscle that pumps in my chest. But I still deal with post-traumatic stress, so dramatic, yes. Focus, hope this sweat, hope it won't progress. Broken, yet I keep on believing, cause I'm still breathing.
I've been going through the motions, hard to stay focused. I've been on this road for way too long. I try to run away, but I cannot escape all the demons that I'm running from. Give me a chance and I'll take it. Give me a heart without hatred. Give me a place I feel safe in. A place that feels like home.
Feels like I'm standing on the edge of the platform now. Maybe somehow I'll fall. Walking miles inside, I know it's true. And this soul has holes like you. And I watch the train get closer into the station, and I backed up just to get a running start. It sent me on a permanent vacation, a new destination. Sometimes the only way to save me is by making space. lost and found. And it's crazy what I'm saying, but I'm praying and I don't know you. But maybe you could just hear me out. And I watch the train get closer into the station, and I walked up to the doors and watched them part. And I met this man without a hesitation, a new destination. Sometimes the only way to save me is by making space for someone else. When I feel the world surround me, can I be the strength for someone else? Sometimes the only way to save me is by holding space for someone else.
Alright, guys, so let me go ahead and introduce everybody. Yes, I'm a W. Whee! Anyways, so this is a very special roundtable show, and this show's sponsored special guest is from actually girls over at Soul Snatchers. Sage and Rain has been telling you about the story since day one, where a beautiful young boy was basically had his life taken away from him for the simple fact of him being gay. And you know, his mother's here, who people keep shutting the doors on and telling her that she doesn't have a voice. And so she's right there with us. That's Miss Pepper Fox on the screen with us. We also got our lovely, beautiful Miss Jessica on the corner. She just got done starting her whole modeling page. A lot of you guys are loving what she's doing. She did that video, which I was surprised. I went to 23 views in like 5 minutes on YouTube. So, you know, we have new family members. We have a really, really true story to be talking about. The artist that you heard at the beginning of the show, that was no other than Massa Man and Drumma with their brand new song. That just came out on this Friday. You know, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We were trying to play emotional music. I asked this artist for permission for this. Tommy Vex. You know, that was his song, Strong for Somebody Else, which is definitely need to be, and definitely need to, you know, do, you know, emotional support through this. And if you have a story that's similar to what she's about to be talking about, or anything, we want to hear what you guys are feeling in the comments. How would you feel if you were in this instance? And we also got Michaela, Miss Layla, over there in the corner. They're going to be coming out with new pictures, hopefully soon. I mean, very soon. But I mean, Jessica has been killing it. So we're good now. Guess whose turn? Because I'm tired of taking over all these interviews, and Rain and Sage just worked so hard to get their heads on the top. So guess what? It's their turn. No, it's your turn to take over.
Okay. We appreciate that, because this really does mean a lot to us, because I seen her story 2 years ago on TikTok, and I started following her and reached out to her, and I've been trying to make this interview happen for 2 years. And first of all, we want to say that you have our 100% support in everything. And we do send our deepest sympathies in the loss of your son. So, and we want to get his story out there. So tell us about Jason, all of it. We want to hear it.
Thank you. You know, he's a very sweet, kind kid. Yeah, what kids would come to, you know, well, he would be the first one to go over and show them the ropes and make them feel wanted. and none of the new kids ever felt alone or by themselves, because Jason was very outgoing. Um, Jason just wants to belong, and what makes me so outraged is they killed him with his hope. Uh, After getting into Jason's iCloud, there was 24 people there. Uh, to lure him out there, after a few weeks to a month before they killed him. I'm assuming it was a first attempt. They were chasing him in the guys that went to jail, that were arrested. They were chasing him in a truck in a game called Smear the Queer, and he was able to jump into bushes, and it was a heavily wooded area, and he was able to jump into some bushes, and he started calling out for help. And someone finally, if a few people came to me and they said, he called me for help. I didn't think it was that big a deal. I didn't know what was going on. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And someone did go and get him. And a few passed, and he had just gotten a full scholarship to go to nursing school, and he was leaving for in 2 weeks, and they one by one, I got into Jason's iCloud, and the phone that was destroyed of his, I was able to duplicate it to an iPhone that someone let me borrow, and so I have everything. I have every horrible text message, every horrible Facebook Messenger message. I have everything. It's checkmate. And people have been terrified since the moment. People have tried luring me out to the woods. And it's like they all forget that I lived there for 10 years, like 7 or 8 years ago. And so they don't realize that, okay, I know that you want me to meet you at the Mennonite church. There's no cell service for like 2.5 mile radius from there. But why would we meet there at midnight? Nah, I'm cool. That type of stuff. And the thing is, I saw some messages where each one of them, the ones that have been arrested and their girlfriends, all individually did this gaslighting with Jason, not only to get what they wanted out of him for months up to this moment, of getting him there to Jargon's Road, but they all one by one apologized for calling him the F slur, which was a word that is used in every other sentence from each one of these people all the time, to Jason. And I understand why Jason didn't tell me. No 19-year-old wants their mom to show up and start spanking people like they're 5, because I would have showed up and it would have been all over with,
Yeah.
there, and I would have too. I almost did the main ringleader during a peaceful protest. The main guy, leader of the pack, he came running down from his upstairs apartment. Told the police he feared for his life. If he didn't do anything, why'd he fear for his life? But he came down with the AR-15 and he pointed it at the crowd. And I saw him. We locked eyes. I pulled over my truck and I got out and I walked up to him and I'm like, "You better put that down before you hurt yourself, son. Where's my kid? And yeah, it's a really messed up situation. There's a ton of people involved, and those apologizing. I found a message from Jason that was a voice recording after one of the girls apologized to him. He was a big factor in all of this. After her name is Ashley Shelgren. After she apologized to Jason sent this voice recording that I found on Facebook Messenger, and he says, Ashley, thank you so much. No one ever apologizes for calling me and he says, F slur, and and you can tell in his voice he doesn't even like saying the word. And he said, "No one ever apologizes for that, and it means so much to me that you did, from the bottom of my heart, So it's like they killed him with a knife because those words meant something to Jason, and that makes me that much angrier. And for the people like Ashley Shepard who got full immunity for telling her lies, because evidence proves that she's lying. She's running around town saying, "Hey, I got away with killing that F slur. Watch out because you could be next. I'm untouchable." And it's like, oh, honey, no,
That is
you are
disgusting.
untouchable. And see, I thought she was the same age as Jason, or just really like from all the heroin and meth. I don't think she just looked older, Come to find out, she's 36 years old. She's been running around telling people, "Hey, you know what? Kids, stay off the table. Don't bring up my kids and this and that and blah blah blah." I'm like, thinking to myself, "You're 36 years old. That's a game changer for me. You're not one of the kids. You're 4 or younger. You're 5 years younger than me. What about my kid? And so yeah, she's in hiding right now
So
because
I do have a question for you though.
yeah.
Leading up to this, like, did you just now recently get his phone back and was able to review all this on your own? And why didn't the courts? Why didn't the courts, for one, bring this phone in as evidence and use the voice recordings of them luring him in?
I got into after he was found in early October. I was able to get into his phone in late November, and the person I told was that because I thought he'd pat me on the back. I was like, I had to tell someone, and I'm like, "Mike, I got in," and he's like, "What?" And he's like, "You need to turn that into the police now." And I said, "I will a hard copy. I'm making a copy first." And I was in the middle of making a hard copy, like 6,000 pages, 2 printers, ink, and I got my hard copy. But the thing is Mike Jason's dad started to shift on me, and he started railroading me, saying, "Turn it into the police. Stop printing it off and turn it into the police." And I said, "Oh, no, I'm getting a hard copy." And then he put a post on Facebook saying that I belonged in jail with the murderers because I was no better. And I told Mike, I said, "Mike, the moment that Jason's body hit Ponderay County after the autopsy, you, the sheriff, and the funeral director all were blowing up my phone saying, 'Come down here and hurry up, come down here and sign the papers so we can cremate Jason. We need to cremate Jason.'" And I'm like, can you give me a day?" And I was in a weakened state, and I was stupid, and I went ahead and went down there, and I did everything on Facebook Live. So there's a Facebook Live of the funeral director denying me my civil rights to see Jason, saying it was the worst he had ever seen and that Jason didn't have any skin. Well, the thing is after I saw the autopsy pictures for this I waited till the last person to have to go through the trial. I saw those pictures, and Jason had skin because I could read the Serenity Prayer on his left arm. So they lied to me. There's some really bad stuff going on in this town of 2,100 people, and I stuff out there because I wanted answers. The moment that I should get into that. Back to your question. I tried giving it to the police, and they didn't want to look at it. And the thing is I was told that the Sheriff Blakesley, and I have this on recording. I have this on recording 7 times because he including the original meeting. Sheriff Blakesley said, "I am going to get a search warrant for Apple, Facebook Messenger, Google, and AT&T." And I said, "Okay, great. How long does that take?" And he's like, "Well, for the national-wide companies, it'll take 60 days. Okay, cool. Well, at day 60, at day 80, at day 100, day 110, 120, 130, 140. I asked him, I have the recordings of it, where I said, have you gotten the Apple iCloud yet? Have you looked into it yet? And he says, no, we haven't gotten anything back from Apple yet. 3 days after Jason's Pride event on April 6th, I had a reporter from the Inlander get a hold of me and said, Pepper, you need to see this. And I said, what is it? And he said, it's a search warrant. And I said, okay. He said, it's public information, but I already have it, so I'll just send it to you. So he sent it to me, and I said, I don't understand. It says April 6th of this year that they asked for a warrant for Apple. But he told me back in November he got the warrant for Apple. And he said he didn't get the warrant until 3 days after Jason's Pride event when those 300 people showed up.
So my question is, so basically they've tried to stall and take you. So Mike, it seems like they try to rush you, as in you just lost your child, to automatically do the cremation. Was it like? Did you have a feeling now that maybe they were destroying evidence?
Absolutely, because the thing is I the in NAACP, I had a meeting with them the night I got Jason's ashes back. A friend of mine and a friend of Jason's, a family friend, he had set up a meeting with them, and they were going to come into town and meet with us, in Newport, and when they got to Spokane or whatever, they said, you know what, we forgot about Newport. We're all really big and we're all really black, and we're not going to go into Newport, so we'll just do the meeting, on Zoom here, now, and so we were all in our cars. And there's this big meeting, and then they brought in like these 100 angry mothers. I don't know what they found the angry mothers, but they found 100 angry mothers, and they said, you don't have to worry about anything, Pepper. We're going to take care of all of your expenses. We're going to take care of the lawyers. We're going to take care of everything. We'll set up all the events. You just have to be there, and you don't have to worry about anything anymore. The first thing that we want to get our own autopsy done on Jason, because we do not trust Ponderay County and we do not trust Spokane County. And I said, oh, shit. And they said, what? And I said, I just got Jason back. And I showed them a vial of Jason's ashes. And they said, oh, well, don't worry. We'll still help you out and everything. This isn't the end of the world. Don't worry about anything. And I never heard from them again. And never returned any of my calls. So the NAACP can kiss my ass for lying to me. They could have just said, hey, you screwed up, too bad. But you know what? I just, and this is what I showed them. This is 9 months, or 19 years, 5 months, and 12 days, and this is all I have. This is all I have. This is my baby. He was, for the moment Jason was born, and I held him in my arms. There was something special about him, and he had a light about him that everyone was always attracted to. And usually, like a kid, as they get a little bit older, they lose that light, and Jason had that light all the way up to the end. He was going to help other people, and the thing is one of the people that was there that night, Jason had walked in on him 3 months before, and walked in on him in the shop hanging himself. And Jason went running over to him and picked him up by the legs and lifted him up and was screaming for help. He finally came to, and helped, cut the guy down. And that guy was there that night, and he was too much of a coward to stand up. He wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Jason. But he couldn't be there when Jason needed him. And I cornered him. I cornered him, and I said, you know what? If you ever do anything stupid like that again, I said it'd be a slap in my face and be a slap in Jason's face. So don't, live a better life. And it's one thing I keep telling everyone is when I corner them is, an apology goes a long way, and sometimes it saves lives. And I said, I said, live a better life. and find better friends and do better, because this is your second chance, because I could have taken it all. I could have taken them all out. With my Italian temper, I could have burned down the town. I could have burned down that town and everybody in it, long time ago. All these people keep asking me. They're like, yeah, I keep trying to put it in perspective for everyone as they start fighting me and stuff online and whatnot. I'm like, look, what would you do if I did to your kid what you did to mine? Oh, you be dead. I'd kill you. And I'm like, what should I do?
So not to interrupt, but it just seems that what's fucked up is, to me, they have no right to get away with this. They committed murder. They took away your child's life. I don't give a shit if he was Chinese, half black, and then he was. It doesn't matter. He was a human being, and they snuffed out a light that was giving. It could have been so much more. He could have been a nurse. Could have finished off his life helping people in the hospitals, but no, somebody who was inbred with this hatred, instead of growing up and evolving, took their hatred, took the influences they had, and snuffed out light. But now they're getting patted on the back like it's okay. They're not heroes. They are criminals walking around just biding their time. Because honestly, if this was my son, I would have fucking killed every single one of them and then their parents. Without a fucking doubt. Would not give two shits. You know what? And if any cop got my way, I would have fucking beat the shit out of him with his own fucking gear. I would not give a fuck. Because you know what? That was my child. You took my child. I don't give a fuck if he was gay, straight, rich, or poor. It did not matter. He was a human being who was trusted people with his heart, and they took it and they ripped it apart. And then they ripped a part of you, because I don't know how to feel, because it's different for fathers than it is mothers. But I'm telling you, my wife would fucking go berserk. I mean,
they took the most beautiful thing that I'd ever seen in my entire life that I was in awe of. Every time he taught me something new, or I saw my father in him, or even myself, and they took the most beautiful thing. I feel like it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and they ripped it into shreds. And I'm trying to put it back together. I'm trying to put his pieces back together as the entire group just looks at me and laughs, and it's not just them. The thing is it's funny how things happen by chance. I Facebook Live, and all these Facebook lives are, if you go back to my story of October 2020, that's when I started doing it. Because I was alone, and I am alone. My mother died 5 months before Jason was murdered, to the day, and so I was the only child. I'm alone, and so I got on Facebook Live and said, you know what, I don't want to do this alone. So you know what, I guess whoever wants to enjoy this, come on this journey with me. Let's do this, And so I'm glad I did, because there's been a few times I've been told the only reason why I'm still alive is because they don't know when I'm recording. And I said, I'm always recording.
Right.
And it is a very, very big story. If you go back to, after Jason's body was found, October 4th, on October 9th, we did a candlelight visual. I recorded it. And the last person I recorded at the end of the night said something very, very strange. And she's been missing since she went missing on 11/15/20. Jason was killed 9/15/20. This girl Melinda Lopez went missing after she talked at Jason's candlelight visual and said some weird stuff, and she disappeared 11/15/20, and no one has seen her since, and everyone's kind of looking for her. And then other people from the same group, because they were part of the same group, and so some other people from the group on the 15th of every few months, someone else goes missing, from this group. And I in my video, you can see where I'm drained from the end of the night. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore, and I'm grumbling to my audience while I'm going back out to my car to call it a night. and I hear people chanting Jason's name. I'm like, fuck, I got to go back. And so I turn around and I go back, and I record the rest of it. And then the last person that I recorded was Melinda Lopez, and she said what Jason did by facing his fears. Um, he not only was he brave, but he's going to through his death, he is going to open this wide open. Uh, and she says, uh, through his death, the town is going to be, the community is going to be able to take control of their town again. She says, does anyone notice there's all children that are missing, and it's absolutely disgusting. And she says, Jason and Jason's family aren't the only ones at risk here. She said, we are all at risk until we figure it out and we stop it. And then she stops talking, and I turned off my recording. And she hasn't been seen since. She must have known, and I think that Jason might have. I think Jason might have. You know, on the sex trafficking market, you know, gay 19-year-olds that are awfully cute, they go for a pretty high price. And you know, Ashley Shelgren called me one time, and she's I think she forgot she was talking who she was talking to, but she said, you know, if Jason just kept his mouth shut and he'd still be here. And I said, oh, and she said, yeah, we knocked him out 5 times, 4 or 5 times, and she said every time we knocked him out, we brought him back to and told him to beg for his life, to give in to you know, to just let whatever happen, and all he did was he'd come to and tell us what a piece of shit we were and a piece of shit our mothers were, and so we beat him back into, you know, an unconscious state, you know, and so, you know, Jason, you know, in some fucked up way, I'm very, very proud of him, because, you know what, he stayed true to himself, and he stayed true to who he was, and he must have known it was the end. And just like,
So he went out fighting. He went out trying to fight back.
Yeah.
What?
He went out a fucking hero. He went out fighting for the people that he believed in.
After he got food for these people, $85 worth of food, and he went out there, and they basically ambushed him, and they tied his hands behind his back, and they took turns beating him in a chair. And you know, they had to, 4 people had to tie Jason's hands behind his back to make it a fair fight.
You know, he died a fucking hero because he was defending himself. Yes. He was defending who he was. He's defending his community. He was defending everyone who didn't have a voice, who's getting murdered in the woods. Jason's just one of many victims that are getting killed for simply being who they are, for being part of a community that a lot of people are just fearful because of the surroundings they have. Oh, you shouldn't be gay if you're a man. You can't cry. See, this is where, we call ourselves free here in the United States, but it's not really free. We're all paying our own price in our own way. But the community is becoming targets because we have our own peers painting that picture. And this hatred is being taught to these younger kids who are already angry. And they're not understanding what to do correctly with somebody else. And they're hurting other people. So these words are affecting people, and you're just poisoning the next generation. Now this generation is taking the next step of defending their generation, so they're going to snuff out all these beautiful lights because they see them as abstract art that should not be there, and that's what's fucked up.
And they're teaching the next generation, like Riley just said, who has a 3% tattoo on his back of his right hand. And he has this tattoo that I didn't understand at first that says, if not me, then who? But it was all uppercase letters except for the H's. And I was like, what does that mean? And I looked it up, and the lowercase h's are Hail Hitler. And this wasn't a hate crime. The sheriff, Blakesley, he doesn't want this to be a hate crime. And he said it in one of the first times we met. I'm like, this is a hate crime. And he said, you know what? We're the most depressed county in Washington State. We get a $100,000 grant every year for being the safest county in Washington State. We will not survive without that $100,000 grant. This cannot be classified as a hate crime.
Hold on for just a second. So, wait 1 second. So, if you guys are just tuning in, this is BTMX Roundtable. This is a special edition because we have Miss Peppa Fox, who was the mother of Jason. It was a young man who had his life taken away from him for simply being part of the LGBT community, and they didn't like that, so they snuffed out his life. And this is his mother telling the story. And now they're trying to put a price on her son's life, trying to tell her that that her son is worth what? How much again?
The on the hate crime, the $100,000 grant they get is more important than Jason. More important than anyone community that identifies. Everyone's in hiding. That's in the LGBTQIA plus community in Newport. They're all in hiding. The mothers shipped off their kids when this first happened to their grandparents across the country, and people were generally scared. And I've actually talked to a lot of the youth has come to me. At one point, there was one of the chief of police. Chief of police report. He drove by my motel room and said, "Hey, why don't you change motels? So because we're worried about your safety, and this and that." I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure." And so after he leaves, I get on Facebook Live and I say, "If any motherfucker wants to come down here and talk to me, I am right here in number 4 at the Spur Motel."
And my whole thing is, you have the right to be angry and upset and destroyed. So if you feel that that's wrong in any way, do not, because these motherfuckers are trying to beat you down because they fucked up. That was a hate crime. If they beat him that many times, that was a fucking hate crime.
Yes.
So definitely, we're going to be back in just shortly. We're going to take a brief break so everyone can breathe. But we'll be right back in just a couple moments. Once again, this is Miss Peppa Fox. We're talking about what happened with Jason and what she's going to go in even more detail. This is just some of the ignorance that this poor woman is suffering through just to get justice for these people brutally beating and murdering her child. So we'll be back in just a couple moments, and I'll make everybody, Rain, I'll make sure you guys get the links. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes.
Alright guys, we'll be right back with Miss Peppa Fox. We're going to go ahead and play some music for you. The next song is by the one and only Massive Man, and his song, The Other Side, featuring Olivia Charlotte.
Something I heard you sighing, but you said it was nothing. Once I saw the devil come alive inside your eyes. Maybe you'll defeat him on the other side. Maybe you'll defeat him on the other side.
I'm sitting at a headstone talking to a grave. I really need your help cause I'm in a dark place. Ever since you passed, I don't really feel the same. I know it's not my fault, but I feel I'm the one to blame. Emotions get a hold of me, I feel like I am losing it. The way it's playing out, it's like I'm living in a movie script. If this is the conclusion, I guess life is an illusion I can't handle anymore. I swear to God I'm gonna lose it. Swear to God that I've been trying as hard as I truly can, but I'll never comprehend why your life has come to an end. There's nothing I could do with the fact you were taken soon. Every time I crack a smile, just know that I think of you. I wish it could go back to the way that it used to be, just you and me. I'm breaking down after reading the eulogy. It's new to me to lose a friend just like that, and gain an angel in the same day who's got my back.
Were you trying to tell us all
like I'ma lose it every 20th of April. I wish you could have opened up, I feel like I betrayed you. You tried to fight your demons on your own, I could have saved you, but God had other plans, he like you better as an angel. I will not forget all the memories that we share, and when I fell apart, you were the only one that cared. You made me feel at home and not alone cause you were there. The day you passed away, I was a wreck and in despair. It didn't feel real to anyone you called a friend. How come every good thing's broken in the end? You filled my heart with hope, you'll never know how much it meant. I've been praying for the day that we can meet again.
Trying to tell us all something. I heard you sighing, but you said it was nothing. And once I saw the devil come alive inside your eyes, maybe you'll defeat him on the other side. Maybe you'll defeat him on the other side.
Hi depression, how you been? It's been a long time, we meet again.
I've been good, the fuck you been up to though? Lately you look like you're unstoppable. You must just not have checked your messages. I've been trying to get to you desperately. It's time you came and repaid your debt to me.
I just wanna be left in peace. Why the fuck you gotta mess with me? So sick and tired of you testing me. Don't get to smile, don't get to sleep.
Sounds like you just need stress relief. Cut yourself or maybe take some pills, cause no one cares if you die or live. A waste of space, another useless soul. The world is better if you just go.
Why you an asshole, making it easy? As long as I'm breathing, my family needs me.
Give it a week and they'll forget you're gone. Forget your name, forget your songs. You think you love, but that's just a lie. I cross my heart and I hope you die. You can't cope with this, you can't cope with change. You got knots to tie, you got ropes to hang.
But what do I do when I can't get a job and I can't get the fuck out my house? I'm losing it slowly, my life is unfolding and this isn't what I'm about.
Whoa, tone it down, you're gonna bust a vein. It's just your fate, this isn't just a phase. I'm drawn to you and you belong to me. I hope you see that now you're stuck with me. The voice inside your head, I am the poison in your veins. I toy with your emotions, I take pleasure in your pain. And I will make you just another fallen angel.
Get the fuck out of my head!
Hey, hold up man, I'm not done with you. I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
Fuck this shit, I'm not comfortable. All I ever do is run from you. I can't accept this, I crave acceptance. I stay expecting the same exact thing, the same rejection, the same deflection, the same infection. My brain's defective.
Don't you wanna come play with me? We can see the world, at least the darker side of it. I got in and left a mark inside your head. I'm not leaving till the heart comes out your chest. I've seen your soul, it isn't worth you keeping it. And your incompleteness is what's been completing me. The voice inside your head, I am the poison in your veins. I toy with your emotions, I take pleasure in your pain. And I will make you just another fallen angel.
Get the fuck out of my head! I see dark on the brightest.
Guys, we're back. We had to get everyone back together. So let's go back into this. Everybody, go ahead and unmute. So Peppo, before this, we were talking about how your son was, brutally murdered, and they're trying to tell you that it wasn't a hate crime, so they could put a price tag because they get something for the government for such and such, instead of actually doing the right thing and giving your son justice. So that's what we're talking about. Before we go any further, any deeper, I want to see what some of the questions that maybe Jessica and the girls have for you, maybe that we're not hitting yet. So let's go ahead and start off with Jessica, and then work over to the girls so everyone has a chance to talk.
So the only thing I really have to say, so I have been wanting to be a mortician and work in the same field as And what really irritates me is the fact that they should have never denied you the fact that you could have seen your son. They should have never been able to deny that. That is your personal right, no matter where you are. And the fact that they denied you, that person can be physically removed out of every funeral home and will never be able to work in one.
He owns the funeral home, and he just became mayor of Newport.
See, he shouldn't even be owning a facility if he's going to be doing stuff like that. I'm sorry. It is one thing to sit there and lie to someone, but to deny someone that they pretty much had and carried and took care of them for their whole life, to deny that one person their last goodbyes is by far the most sketchiest thing in the world. And that irritates my soul because as a job, as a mortician, as anyone in that field, your job is to make sure that the family is happy with their what you are giving them.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I'm so irritated because it's our job as morticians are to make sure you're at peace and you are able to see him as you would have seen him your whole life. Like,
Well,
that is a mortician's job.
I Facebook Live when right before I went in, and I have him on camera cutting me off when I say I want to see Jason, and he's like, nope, 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 sorry, can't do it, sorry, can't do it. Nope, no, it's too bad you wouldn't even recognize him. It's the worst I've ever seen. I've been doing this for 30 years. And as the conversation goes on, he directs me, in a different direction. I had for Christmas that year, I was gonna give Jason, because he had asked about it. I was finishing up Jason's baby book, and there's one thing I was missing out of it, and it was a lock of hair. And I was gonna give it to him for Christmas, and the the funeral director, he knew that, and he said, well, hey, I got you a lock of hair, and he gave it to me for Jason's book. But it has to be pretty bad. Try and cover up something that's going on in town if he's willing to take the risk of me suing the socks off him for my civil rights. And people tell me all the time, oh, well, he was just trying to help you. He was just trying, after seeing the video, because a lot of people post on my stuff, and like, oh, he was just trying to do, he didn't want you to see it. It was too bad. You don't want that last memory in your head. I said, no. That's not the point. The point is, I'm 42 years old. I'm motherfucking grown. If I want to see my kid, I have the right to do it. It's my choice.
Yes.
And maybe I would have stopped at the door and said, you know what? I don't want to see him after all. It was my choice. And the thing is if he's willing to stop someone's civil rights on seeing their son, then who's going to say that he's not going to try to exceed someone else's civil rights by telling them what they can do with their uterus? When I put it into position like that, especially now that he is mayor of Newport, people think twice about, oh, well, when you put it that way, it's I back to when the police asked me to move rooms. When I got on Facebook and I Facebook Live and I said, if anyone wants to come down here and talk to you, I mean, this is where I am. I was pretty heated, and I got off Facebook and I went and I sat in my room and I was looking at the map and figuring out where I was going to go, the next day. And I started getting knocks at the door. And something that I had mentioned in my live before I got off it was, everyone involved, you owe me your last born son. And I ended the live. Well, right off the bat, two people I knew exes of two of the guys involved, with their children with them, knock on my door, and I'm like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Like, "Hey, we don't have anything. Please don't kill our sons. Please don't kill our. We didn't have anything to do with this. They're our exes. Blah blah blah." I'm like, "Wait, hold on. So who says I was going to kill your last born sons?" And they said, "Well, you said everyone owes the last born sons." And I said, "Well, yeah." So I was going to like nurture and take care of them and deny them their last born sons. I'd probably do a better job raising them than they would anyway. These are hateful people. I said, so chill, but thanks for letting me know that these are the first two that are, confirmed on who was involved. Well, as the night went on, I got more knocks at the door, and I had several knocks that were, from people that were alone, and they were scared, and they told me a story about 22 Yargans Road, where Jason had been killed. All the stories were exactly the same, that they went out there to party. The homeowner, Ken Streckler, offered them champagne, and then they started feeling weird afterward. Now, I'm from a rich area, and as a kid, I never knew what champagne. I still don't know it. I'm 42 years old. I don't know what champagne tastes like. You think a bunch of backwoods kids in the most depressed county in Washington State would know what champagne tastes like? They wouldn't know if it was roofied or not.
Right.
So the thing is they also the same story that they felt weird after drinking the champagne, and they were led to one of the rooms in the house. And Ken Streckler was standing there. Then a stranger they didn't know would walk into the room, hand Ken Streckler money, and then Ken Streckler would leave the room. And they said, "Well, it's not really rape because I didn't say no." And I'm like, "That's the point of Rufinol. That's the point." And I said, they asked me for help. And I said, "Well, okay, let's go to the police." And they said, "You don't understand. The police are paid to look the other way." And I said, "That's crazy. I can't believe you'd say that. It's such a weird thing to say, and I didn't believe it at first. But, I did research on, I've done extensive, people think I might have been just sitting around crying, I'm making TikToks all day. But, I have been unhealthily obsessed with research. And I think Jason would be really, really proud of me. Because I've been able to link. The guy that owns Timber River Ranch, he had 22 different, or 23 different LLC companies, which means that there's no social security number attached to it. It has their own entity, their own tax ID number, if you have an LLC. And he had like 23 or something companies that all went to 22 Yargans Road. And I ended up going out to the property, and there's no way. I'm in construction myself, and it was all, I did more research on him, and his LinkedIn profile. He works for this company, right? And the company, you go to press on that link, and it says page not found. You go to all the other people that are his co-workers at the same company. None of them have pictures, and they all started their profile the same month and same year. So he didn't do a really good job he didn't do a very good job of trying to make up this pretend thing. But looking even further into his background, he worked for Johnson & Johnson Pharmaceuticals. Something he has in common with the cult leader. After Clifford E. Hobbs and the whole sex trafficking thing came out in the late 80s, it was turned over to Don Hobbs. Don Hobbs worked for Pfizer Pharmaceuticals for 30 years. He died April before Jason was killed that September. The new owner is Tammy Hobbs, who owns the Church of Pleasure, which is the cult that changed their name to Faith Through Grace. And she also runs the Hobbs Foundation. The Hobbs Foundation controls everything. You can't get a small business license without going to the Hobbs Foundation. They help the youth. They have the say in how much money gets spent on the educational system. The educational system is not good there, and I've heard it over like 5 or 6 times. people say, why invest money in cattle? And it's like, wow, this is insane. And I think it's a crazy story. Uh, I've had people that worked, or what they did was they would buy children in this, and they buy children in the human trafficking, and then they would basically kidnap the child and then foster them out, and then get them adopted out so they're in safe, get them into safety, right? A few people got a hold of me and said, Pepper, this story is not crazy at all. The crazier it sounds, the more likely it's true. And with the stuff that you have, the documentation and everything, this is very, very big, and it's bigger than you, and it's bigger than it's you're going to need an army to bring these people down, and it's 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 a very, very scary situation. It's a very scary little town of 2,100 people that they've been doing this for what, 35 years, without being caught, and they flaunt it. Tammy Hawk, who runs those places, Tammy owns those places. Her daughter was one of the people that was there that night that Jason died. Her boyfriend, who she had a baby with, Kevin Belding got 14 months time served for watching Jason lose his life, and then lie to the cops twice and say, "Oh, I was too high. I don't know what happened." But everybody says, "Oh, well, Kevin gave Riley Jason's keys before he left."
Now, wait one second. Wait 1 second before you go any further. So, I got some comments to read to you because I really think you need to hear them. Because we always try to give everyone a voice here at BTMX. Because I got a lot of reading to do. So Jessica is actually the wife of one of the artists that's part of Team Teeth, and he's giving hugs, and he has mad respect for you. You got Rocky I've been here sending hugs to all you badass females. She is always recording. That's RJ 80M83 over there on Twitch with us. He just started following. Thank you for that. You got Tones over there crying. You got Splatterbrain ask what's going on, so the girls explained. If you guys are just tuning in, once again, this is Pepper Fox. This is Jason Fox's mom. This is the boy that was brutally murdered, once again. And I'm sorry to keep repeating because I feel so disrespectful, but they have to know who you are and what's going on. But was brutally murdered and then basically covered up. This woman was denied her rights to see her son's body before, trying to have peace. But unfortunately, I did look this up just recently. So I just found out some bad news. And this upsets me as a parent. It says that currently parents need permission from a justice of peace or medical examiner to see their deceased child in his or her death. It occurs outside of a hospital or mental health care institution. Nothing in the state law grants parents the right or the immediacy to see their own children's body. So
in Washington State,
actually all the states in the United States that goes for.
When did this?
The people letting people see their children are most likely parents themselves, or just good at their business where they want you guys to have peace. But they can if the company denies you or the medical examiner, they don't have to let you see the body. So we can't. Wow. Unfortunately, I found that out, but So
it's not a civil rights violation then.
Yep.
I can't go after them.
Yeah. And so they're hiding behind that fact. If they were actually good people and actually cared about this whole situation, they would have let you see your son no matter how bad it was, because that's a piece that you would need to have by yourself.
Right. But when he, is talking about how he's hunting buddies with the sheriff, if the powers that be, the people that have a say in the government there in Newport, if it were a tree, the branches wouldn't fork very often. Like basically it's more like a root. Everyone's so intertwined in everybody else. There's like Ashley Shelgren, who got immunity. She was a grave digger for Padre County, and she was fast. All these people are looking at their Facebook profiles. They're all fascinated with murder, death, and serial killers, and they're all a part of this cult.
Wow.
They don't even hide it. They don't even hide it. The thing is looking through Jason's Facebook Messenger messages. There's messages where JoJo didn't have a phone at the time, and she actually talked to her mother, Tammy Hobbs, through Jason's Facebook Messenger. And there's some pretty interesting things there that I won't bring them up today, but
one second, because you know what, you're not gonna hold your voice back.
No.
We're gonna tell you this, and I originally started this by myself, and then I added my sisters, and we also got Sean Cooter. We're all heads of this. And we'll tell you right now, you're welcome to this show every single time.
Yeah.
We will back you up 100%. I also want to talk with you in the background with actually doing a 24-hour event to help you get funds in doing this in order to put these people where the fuck they belong, in jail or beat to death. I swear to God, if this was my child, somebody would be motherfucking paying in flesh. I don't give a fuck about the cash. None of my children have a motherfucking price tag. Nobody's child should. So, I'm going to go ahead and back to some of the comments that we have and get them all caught up. We got TNT sending love and support for you and your loss. This story should be everywhere. And what has this world become? You got Robert. I'm sitting here next to Pepper watching. She is an amazing woman and incredibly strong and brave. She's inspiring. Again, thank you. Thank you so much for helping her get her message out to the world. Rocky Rob says, everybody's going through something in these crazy times. We also got RJ80M83R says, here with Pepper. He's one of the beautiful people in the world. We got K Dreg giving 100%. So actually, Sean Kuda wants to step in. He wants to, say his thoughts, because this is upsetting to him, because he is actually part of the LGBT community. And when he heard this story from the girls, he about lost his shit. So here's Sean Kuda.
See, Miss Fox, I'm going to be dead honest, and I'm going to be serious about this, okay? I'm a former mercenary, okay, and defense contractor myself. I worked in the defense industry under a corporation. Now, the worst thing about this whole situation is I'm also openly bisexual, and I have been openly bisexual since I was 12 years old. I lived in the hood, okay, from the state that I'm from, okay? And I used to get the shit beat out of me. I used to get beat on and cracked on and basically abused my whole childhood after I came out. The last person who tried that with me, I stuck a .357 Magnum in their mouth, told them if they ever put their hands on me again, I will put their brains on the ceiling. And I'm an avid gun owner myself, okay? I'm also been in martial arts since I was 2 years old, because my father, he told me that if you can't defend yourself in the most dire situations, then you will become a victim of that situation. Now, that is why I'm an active and avid gun owner and active with martial arts, and I believe all parents should teach their children martial arts. They should teach them self-defense due to the simple fact, if this situation comes up again and somebody were to be able to defend themselves and be able to actually fight, even being 12 years old, okay, I was able to take out 200-pound men by the age of 12. I was in martial arts for 10 years at that point, okay? That's why I'm an active and avid person when it comes to martial arts. And if people want me to, I even train them for free. I do not put a price tag on your defense. Your self-defense is for free with me. Okay, I live in the state of Ohio. Okay, and where I come from, it literally we knew. Okay, when I was in the hood, if you're gay, okay, you kept it to yourself. Me, I didn't. I kind of flaunted it. I let people know.
You fought back like Jason did. The first time I found him, he was being choked out with a dog chain by his brother because he came out about being gay. And I found him first time I ever met this kid, man. He was hanging over the fence. His brother was killing him because his brother found out that he was in the guys. And I came up, and if it wasn't for me coming around that corner, he wouldn't be here today because his parents were just watching. So he had to go. He after that moment, he took that strength, that chance that I saved his ass, and he went and found out every way to defend himself.
Yeah.
And, keeping that fight. That's why this is so upsetting to him, because he wishes he had the time with Jason to teach him what he knew that in order to maybe have saved his life.
And that's one thing that everyone involved is responsible. But you know what? On another note is, I take responsibility for my part, and that is since Matthew Shepard, I thought this was all. I grew up in Seattle. The weirder you are, the more popular you are. Anything goes. There's very little. You don't see racist. The people that are racist or homophobic, they're kind of like outcasts because you're like, whatever. We don't have time for that kind of bullshit here. So it's like I would see a gay pride parade on TV, and I would be going by TV. Oh, like, hey, a bunch of gay people that are happy to be who they are. That's awesome. Gay used to be happy. They look really happy. They're rock on. Power to them. I didn't know it was about equality. Honest to God, I did not know it was about equality. Why would they need to fight for the same rights that we all have because we're all human beings? I don't. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the whole fact of who was it that said that it was okay to hate on people who are different from themselves, or it's mind blowing to me, because no one should have to fight to be who they are, no matter it's not like they have to. It's not like these homophobic people have to sleep with these gay people, and it's just I don't I have a very hard time understanding that, and I'm sorry, I'm a little bit, with my experience so far with the gay community, they've been so loving, and they have had their arms open wide, and they're very gentle people. Most of them don't know what kind of know the difference between different types of guns, because they don't own guns, because they don't kill things, because they live and let live, and they're very loving, and they live in fear. The majority that I have talked with, I keep telling everyone in the community when I have a chance, I tell them, hey, look, if we all don't get angry together at the same time, this is going to keep happening. There's always going to be Matthew Shepards. There's always going to be Jason Foxes. Who's next? Because you might as well just put yourself out there, because it's just going to keep happening if you don't get angry and you stop tolerating the fact of, oh, well, this is just the way it is. This is just the way it's always been. I just live in fear, and I walk the other way, and it looks the other way, and oh, it's okay if I get, gay bashing, or it's like, no, it's not. It's not. And I feel like the community is too loving and caring and sweet. Honestly, that I need to find the angry people like yourself, sir. I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
I'm DJ Shadow, and we got also Sean Kudu. And see, this is why we were so happy to get you, because on this side of the world, we don't care how gay or straight we are. We're angry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna let somebody just beat me and abuse me. Okay, I'm gonna literally stand up for who I am. And if somebody steps to me and tries to basically take my voice away from me.
Fuck around and find out.
Yeah, exactly. You are quite literally going to fuck around and find out. Because 90% of the time, I used to carry a firearm. I carry a blade on me 24/7.
Actually, honestly, if you're part of the LGBT community, no offense, right now, you should get certified to have a weapon to defend yourself with.
Actually, now you don't have to get certified.
Oh, that's right. Now just get a weapon and you can shoot the motherfucker who's...
Because it's constitutional carry right now by federal law.
I think if Jason had, he should have justice. This should not be going the way it is. You seem like everybody's hands are in this pocket. It's kind of funny, the guy who denied her to see her son, who let everybody else see their children when they passed, denies her, then all of a sudden is mayor.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, that's politics right there.
Okay, my whole thing is they should not use her son's tragedy as a power play.
No, it shouldn't be.
My ex-husband and I were on the. We don't get along very often, but when we came together when Jason went missing, and the thing is Mike used to until Jason came out, would call him the F slur, and I didn't know about that. But then he changed it to princess, which is, I think, just as bad. Anyway, one thing that made me like drop everything and run was I saw Mike on the news after 3 days after Jason had been missing, and he looked funny. And if you look at all the different news broadcasts where Mike's in there, the first one, he's different than all the others. He's really red in the face, he's flushed, and instead of talking about Jason's car and what kind of music he liked or what he was wearing or this or that, he's like, look at me, look at my tattoo. Jason and I have matching tattoos. That's the kind of kid he was. And I was like, kid he was? And so I dropped everything and I went running over, right? Well, I finally got, after months of we got together, we started working together, we're working together great as a team. Then right before, or it was actually right after Jason's body was found, right about the time of the autopsy, after the autopsy, before Jason had been cremated, right about that time, the sheriff had a one-on-one conversation with Mike. And overnight, Mike pulled a 180 on me. And instead of working with me, he was working against me. To the point that he put something on Facebook saying, and so did Susan, his wife, saying stuff like, well, we don't need to make TikToks to know that, Jason's dead. We don't need a constant reminder. We just want this to all go away. And it's like, no.
See, even as a father, when one of my children died, that would never go away. That would be a bleeding wound forever.
Right. Yeah, but Mike didn't like Mike. If any of the children could have died, the right kid died for Mike.
See, no offense, and I hope I don't upset you by saying this, but this is just my personal thing, but he's a fucking douche. Let me explain why. Because I don't care how straight I am or what my surroundings are. If one of my children are gay, especially my son, I'm gonna listen, he listens to this type of music, I'm gonna know everything about my child to the best detail. Because you know what? That child, okay, guess what? He likes guys. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Obviously, I taught him to love, and he's loving and respecting his partner. That's all I care about. That's my goal in life, is to teach my children that they can love somebody and not beat them down. Then obviously I did something right. It doesn't matter the sex or their decision. What makes me upset about this man trying to claim himself as a father and use this for a spotlight was the fact that he should have knew more about his son instead of just princess, and supported the fact, because he should already knew as a guy that he was going to have a rough time in this fucking whole one thing we call a world. I mean, he should already knew as a man coming out like that he was going to have issues. Instead of adding to the issue, been more supportive. Maybe even taught him ways to defend himself when he was tied up. These are all things. Like, as soon as my son says, "Hey, you know what, Dad, I'm gay," I'm like, "Well, guess what? Me and your uncle got some training to do with you because you're gonna have to be able to whoop somebody's ass in every situation."
Oh yeah.
You know what? To a point where we don't have to teach our gay children to have to defend themselves. When do we get to that point where the homophobicness and all the hate and everything is so far removed that we don't have to teach our children to protect themselves? You know, I mean, are we ever going to see it? You know, I don't think we'll ever see it unless we all come together as part of the gay community and stand up and say no more and stop it and say this. Well, because you know what, the one message that I'm trying to get across in Newport is this behavior was absolutely towards my son was absolutely uncalled for. It is absolutely this behavior was completely I forgot the word now, but I said it won't be true. I will not tell you. It's absolutely disrespectful and it's not okay. It's not okay, and it's not going to happen again.
And
Time around.
you're definitely right. It's not okay. This was an injustice. You basically, they took away your baby. They're letting these people who did this out of hate get away with it. Okay,
And then come down and flaunt it.
and they're okay to talk about it, and these people were known that these people are talking about it because there's not that many people and everybody knows everybody. So obviously they know that these kids are out there flaunting about this, so automatically that should automatically put them back in court because they're admitting to the guilt because they're going around saying they got away with it. See if
well, also the fact that the evidence and this is the thing is the judge when Claude got aggressive with the judge was only going to give him 10 years. And when Claude got aggressive and actually was openly just like everyone else feels in the group, he got 333 months. He got the maximum on everything. But the thing is while we're there and in court, the judge basically tells him how to write his appeal so he can get out, which is, well, all of the evidence proves that one of the co-defendants, Matt Radish Freeman, and his testimony, it's all a lie. The evidence proves that he's lying. I got a petition and put it all together. I got 1,000 signatures off of TikTok. I had everyone just say, this is my signature, electronic signature, and then I printed the whole thing off, and I take it in, and I got shot down, and it said, well, you didn't submit it into, you didn't give it to the prosecutor, so I can't even look at it. And I'm like, okay. And Matt got 5 years. It's actually, you get on county time. Every day you're in county for prison time, you get 2 days prison credit for every day you're in county. So he's 2 months. So he's already done 44 months of his 60-month sentence. So he'll be out in 12 months to 16 months. And wow. It's like, and the thing is, and the prosecutors group, the prosecutors victims advocate lady, yeah. She said, well, it's never enough time for the victim's family. And I looked at her and I said, bitch, 14 months is not enough time. 5 years is not enough time. And he's not going to even do 5 years. He'll be doing 3.5. So no, it's not enough time. And the victims advocate, I actually put them in check. I didn't realize they were watching my TikTok videos. I was wondering why for the first 4 months of all of the court dates and everything that I wasn't getting any of the letters. And then I was given wrong court dates. And then I was given the wrong Zoom information. And so I missed a lot of the court hearings. And I wasn't getting any of the stuff that the victims advocate lady is in the prosecutor's office is supposed to give me. And then I finally threw a fit and I wrote a really nasty email, and I sent it to God and everyone, including everyone at the police department, everyone at the sheriff's department, everyone at the prosecutors, you know. And finally, I got a response in a letter for the next court hearing from her. And I look at the name, and I'm like, Stiegel. Why does that sound familiar? And I look at her card, and I go, wait a minute. And so I pull out the detective's card on Jason's case, and they have the same last name, Stiegel. And I'm like, that's funny. And so I look up Travis and Lisa Stiegel, and they live at the same address there in Newport. And I'm like, wow. And so I make a TikTok about it and say, this is what I'm up against, guys. You know, and I put up the video of that, and then all of a sudden I get a call a few weeks later that from the new victims advocate, because they created a job for the old victims advocate, right? She's still in the department, but they hired someone new off the street, and she's been great ever since. You know, because she's new and she's not corrupted. She's not part of the N, you know? So it's like, I'm actually getting all my information, right? Well, it's like, you know, another thing that I had done is, okay, you know, the cops know that I'm running around gathering information. They told me to stop giving them information after their 15th 3-inch binder was full. And they said, look, just stop giving us information, you know? So I've been collecting it, and I have boxes of proof and ties to everything. Anyway, they know that I'm in the lineup here, and I go to call the sheriff, not sheriff, the chief of police in Newport, and I can never get a hold of him. It always goes straight to voicemail. And see, I have 2 telephones. I have my own business, right? So no one has the number to my other business, or my business phone. So I call Duxbury on my regular phone, go straight to phone. Call him on my other telephone, and boom, he answers the phone.
I seen that video.
Yeah. Well, see, I've actually been blocked by the sheriff's. I can't call the sheriff's department or the police station. So if I'm in trouble somewhere, I'm just shit out of luck. You know, and the thing is when I was at the motel, the maid came up to me, and she said, she came up to me and she's like, hey, I'm sorry about your son. You know, hey, I got a job this weekend, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, why do I care? You know, but I wasn't rude or anything. I was like, oh, what are you doing? And she said, I'm cleaning up your son's mess. And I said, can I go with you, please? Let me clean up after my son one last time. Please, I'll work for free. I need to go. I want to go. She told me that she had met, you know, this was a Thursday. She had met with the homeowner on Wednesday, and then she was cleaning Saturday. So me and a buddy, and I Facebook Live the whole thing. Me and a buddy go out to 22 Yargans Road on Friday. And that was something that made the police very, very upset. I think that's why they all shut me out from being able to call them, is because they couldn't lie about certain things because I was out there. And I have a recording of like one of the sheriff deputies arguing with me because I have 3 people telling me that there were cameras out there at 22 Yargans Road that possibly, and one in the shop, meaning that there's a recording of Jason getting beaten to death. And I want it. Right? Well, Melinda Lopez, the girl that went missing after seeing that weird stuff at Jason's Candlelight Vigil, Melinda Lopez's mother gets a hold of me and says, hey, I need money, and I have something that you want. And I'm like, oh, and she said, yeah, I have the hard drives, you know, and this guy had told me he had stolen the hard drives from Tiber River Ranch, and he gave them to Melinda Lopez's mom. And I'm telling her, look, you know, if this was the other way around and I had possible footage of your daughter getting murdered, you would kill me, and then you'd kill me again, and I wouldn't expect any less. And anyways, I get a hold of the sheriff, or the sheriff deputy, and I'm trying to talk to him, and he's like, there are no cameras at 22 Yargans Road. And I said, hold on a minute. I'm going to send you some pictures real quick. And I went back to that video where I was out at 22 Yargans Road. And I took pictures, I took still frames of all the spots where I could see the cameras. And I circled them with red marker. And then I sent them to him and I said, what the fuck is that? This bitch actually has the hard drives that the guy who stole them said that he gave to her. Here's all the emails back and forth between the three of us. Can someone go get those hard drives? And nobody would go and get them. And then finally they show up, and the thing is that there was a switcheroo because these people had money. 22 Yargans Road was a wedding venue. They had lots of money. They had probably had a top-notch security system. I'm pretty damn sure. Well, the hard drives that were sent into them were from they were old from 2004 and 2007. I'm like, that doesn't sound right because my mom had a state-of-the-art system, and yeah, everything you're talking about is not even close to, they've been hiding evidence. They've been trying to push this under the rug since the moment Jason went missing. They thought that Jason didn't matter because he was gay. One of the sheriff deputies, or not sheriff, but the city police that we argued with about even taking a report that he didn't file with the Missing Persons Bureau for 3 days after he finally took the report. Like, why don't you want to do your job, dude? He said to me, he's like, he probably just ran away. He's 19 years old. He doesn't have to tell you anything. And I'm like, that's true, but this isn't like him, And he said, it's just one less gay kid for us to have to worry about. Well, that gentleman was the police officer for the school, right? The elementary school, they have the dare officer or whatever, right? Well, he told he was in a therapy session and probably thought it was okay to tell him that, hey, I've been diddling little kids, and he was arrested and he's in jail right now for molesting children. And what was totally taken out of the off the investigation and everything. Of course, he had to turn his badge and they anyway. But the thing is there's so much corruption and there's so much going on here, and I'm fighting not only a town of 2,100 people. I'm fighting a congregation that thinks that my son's sexuality is an abomination and embarrassment. I'm fighting my ex-husband. I'm fighting his wife who's running around telling everyone that she's Jason's mom, which I don't give a shit, but it's a matter of, on the internet in black and white, it looks like I contradict myself. And actually there's a few news broadcasts where it shows her face and her talking, but it has my name underneath her, and it's like, I've just kind of let that kind of shit go, but it makes me look like an idiot in black and white on the internet. People are like, well, you're contradicting yourself, but I'm fighting people on TikTok. I'm fighting strangers. My entire event my goal was to get more people to show up for Jason's Pride event than the people that were in town. So if I could have gotten 2,001 person in Newport that was gay, then I felt like I would have achieved my goal. North Omaha Cat Lady, she did a friends only video, taking the truth and totally strewing it out to make it look absolutely something that it wasn't, and destroyed my event like weeks before it happened. That's why only 300 people showed up when I had done RSVPs, and I had gotten that confirmation for about 37,000, and she had such a big following even back then that a lot of people turned their backs on me. In the gay community, turned their backs on me. And it wasn't until the few that did show up that we had about 300 there, and some people were TikTok living it, and then people started going like Jesse Lee and Julia and a few others were like, wait a minute, they're still doing the event. What's going on here? And then they realized that when they caught Cat Lady in a lie, that they were like, oh, so it's like I'm fighting strangers I don't even know because they're jealous of some 19-year-old gay dead kid getting a little bit of justice or trying to get some exposure out there. And it's just like everything, I feel like I understand people in the LGBTQIA plus community. If every day being a war zone, every day being a fight, I get death threats on a daily basis because I create gay kids or gay people. So, kill it at the source. I'm fighting everyone in every direction all the fucking time. And one thing that I want to say to the gay community is for all of the hell and all the bullshit and all the hate that you guys deal with on a daily basis every day, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that you have to deal with that because you shouldn't have to. It's unnecessary. It should not be tolerated, and it's unacceptable. And that's the biggest point I've been trying to get across. And someone asked me, and they said, "What do you want from all this? Getting Jason's story out there, and what is it? What's the end result?" And I said, "I want people to think twice about hating." And they said, "Well, how do you think you're going to do that?" And I said, "Well, off of the Matthew Shepard's hate crime, law, I want there to be an enhancement. I want the enhancement to be in towns of 10,000 people or less. It doesn't matter if you knew that person that you bullied or killed or hurt in some form or fashion. It doesn't matter if you knew or not that they identified with the gay community. It's an automatic hate crime. And in towns of 5,000 or less, I want an enhancement off of that enhancement, which is in towns of 5,000 or less, 3 times the fine and 3 times the time on that automatic hate crime. That's the best that I could come up with at the time. I felt like it was a little bit too emotionally charged, but a gal that actually works in legislation or in Olympia here, our capital, she said that no, that's not too bad. That's not too far out of reach. I think we could work with that. So I guess somehow we're gonna try to figure out. I don't know how. She's a gal, she knows. I'm just gonna show you, but
would you maybe you gathering signatures for that and just in general?
Well, I wonder if signatures even make a difference anymore. Like it. I thought petitions made a difference. Do they?
I have realized, so I was questioned to sign a petition with my older brother, and my older brother is part of the LGBT community. And we were reading, he reads everything. Granted, he is an English major. I am proud of him. He's accomplished more than I've accomplished myself. But when you read fine prints, some of them are actually trying to boo homeless and push more on the LGBT on not wanting them or their money or their business at their facility. I was reading it and I didn't know that. And my brother looked at me and he's like, "Don't you dare sign that." And I was like, "Why?" And he showed me where I needed to start reading for petitions because of the fact that people will say, "Yeah, here, sign this. This is for whatever." But it's actually for something more worse. They like to sugarcoat it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I presented my question incorrectly. Do you think that, okay, if I got, let's say, 1 million signatures on a petition, will that actually make a difference in the outcome of whatever I'm petitioning? Do petitions really matter?
It should be, considering the fact that it's multiple people's voices and they're standing by the side. Like, even though they're signing a piece of paper, they're still by your side and they're not there physically, but they're out there spreading it and telling them everything. They're like, yo, this isn't right. We need legit justice. Like, I never seen the point of people being so mean and angry towards people that love who they love. My sister is bisexual and my brother is gay. And I am proud of them. Like, I support them no matter what. That's how I grew up, was everyone is the same and that's how everyone should be treated.
Right.
And the first time I've ever seen something negative towards my brother was we were walking by, and at the time we were walking by a church, and they had like a group outside, and my brother was with me and everything else, and they started slurring him and everything else, and I physically did not understand why they were being so mean. And as I got older, I realized they're mad. They can't be what they want to be because they're bounded by religious reasons.
Absolutely.
Wait 1 second before we go further, because we do have 8 minutes left of the show. Miss Peppa, we want you to come back next Sunday. Can you do that?
Yeah, actually, I can. I'd love to.
All right, so we want you to be here as much as you want to be, because we want this to be in everyone's faces as much as possible. We're going to work in the background about seeing if we want to set up an event for this. And maybe you write this how it should be wrote, and work with whoever, and let's see how many petitions, how large we can get this petition going with, maybe getting some of the other networking that we have to get on this project as well. And let's give you even a more powerful voice with an army behind you. So Jason, somebody never has to be another mother that suffers like you do, where now all you have is ashes and no justice. So, you know, it's the sad thing. It's not always religion that just does it. It's fear. It's fear of not understanding. It's fear of, you know, what people are going to judge. It's taught by all our surroundings, and that's where.
Absolutely.
That's where this we want to. Here at BTMX, we're always about trying to make change. We accept everybody for who they are, and we definitely want you to have this spot every weekend to make sure that this is in the forefront of everyone's minds. Here, Jason. I didn't know Jason personally, but he sounds like an amazing person, like some of the people I grew up. Raina's actually my big sister. I grew up with LGBT all the way around me. I mean, lately her house was the gay bar when everybody was dressing up to do drag. So I got used to it, you know. But they grew up, and it was pretty bad back in that time too, because that was when everybody was starting to come out freely, and it was still not okay. But now there's people hiding how they feel about this, and mostly it causes because they have gay tendencies themselves. Instead of admitting to it, it's just easier to get angry about it. So that's another problem too. A lot of people.
I'm so sorry, Nora. Something that I wanted to touch on that she said, and then you said it. That's one thing that I think a lot of this comes down to also jealousy on some of these guys' parts, because I found naked pictures of full frontals of several of these guys that killed Jason, that they sent to Jason from their phone. So it's like they were. Riley Hillstead, he was actually put in what's that therapy where like they show you a picture of like two guys kissing, they're like, does this turn you on? And they zap you. What was that called?
Conversion therapy?
Yes, thank you. He was conversion therapy when he was like 13 or 14 years old by his father, and his father is openly homophobic. He knew that if it came out about, you know, him sending naked pictures, that, you know, his dad would have taken him away his allowance. his free apartment. You know, I totally shunned him from the family. You know, and that's one thing is I think that Jason, when he finally loved, I was so excited when he finally loved and accepted himself. And I think that's something that they were jealous about. You know, here's a 19-year-old that has a car money, and he's on his way to school and getting out of the damn town, and he is happy and proud of who he is. And that's something that none of them could have done.
So,
No.
I don't want to cut you off, but you know what, guys? She's coming back. This story is going to stay to the forefront for a while. We're going to give a big shout out to actually Rain and Stage, who brought this to BTMX's spotlight, because they know here that we would, you know, they knew they was going to light a fire, because we're going to back you up 100%. You're not alone. As parents, we can never feel your pain, but as parents, we're just pissed off that you have to feel this and nothing happened the way it should have. So this was BTMX's Roundtable. This has Miss Peppa Fox, and it will continue to have Miss Peppa Fox. We have Jessica, who just joined the family over at BTMX Modeling. Go check out her page. Definitely give this video a like and subscribe. Share the fuck out of this video. Right now, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Best platforms are YouTube and Twitch. Directly when I'm done, this will be on all other social media platforms like Tumblr, Instagram, everywhere that we are. So we want to tell you thank you. Thank you for your strength. Thank you for not giving up on your son. Thank you for keeping, telling us the story that, and what people don't understand, she's not doing this for attention. You know how much pain that she has to keep when she's telling the story, that she has to relive. And she's not getting any answers for. This is why I thought, the girls are like, hey, she's not getting any help. People are now just shunning her. Here, you're not shunned. We want to make sure the spotlight is where you need it. So we're going to go ahead and let everyone... You're welcome, and we know it's welcome to the BTMX family. I'm DJ Shadow. Once again, we have Miss Pepper Fox. We have the beautiful Jessica Beckley. We got both Soul Snatchers. We have Sean Kudo. We're going to go ahead and tell you guys goodnight. And don't forget, share the shit out of this. You're going to hear more from this amazing woman next weekend. And can't wait to, it's sad what we have to hear, but it's the truths that all, as parents, I would love to know.
Yep. We got your back 100%.
All right. So
you threw out to Cali. We got you.
So we love you guys, and we're going to go ahead and let you go.
Bye.
Bye.
Ringing, cameras flashing. I'm so anxious, like how this happened. I prayed to be here, but I'm not happy. Rap's a job now, it's not my passion. Wait a second, fuck, I don't mean that. Took some time off and I'm glad to be back. But no more mister, let's take a picture. By these drinking friends are not really friends. I lost myself, nearly off myself. I don't mean to scare nobody, but I fought like hell to be back in this town where I feel like I'm dead. Watching my friends get addicted on meth. Waking up with different girls in my bed, but never the one that stays stuck in my head. Regardless of hardships, I give it my best, and I'm grateful for every time I take a reach. I would never walk alone, but I know that I'm lonely. There's only only a couple of people that really know me. They owe me. Was buried with my mother or brother, so I'm just trying to find the truth to keep on going. Holding on to grudges, I'm slowly sinking further into a pit of nothing that's holy. Show me light at the end of the tunnel. See, I've been struggling and I can see the exit closing. They said it's just a dream, but they hate that I caught it. It's a struggle trying to be the man I was when I started. A lot of sacrifices that I had to make as an artist. I'm looking famous on the gram, but I'm literally starving. I can't lose my momentum or my focus on the movement. I lost myself, I've been consumed by this new shit. Attention from these girls, and it's funny cause they used to never give me time of day until they found my YouTube. I'ma keep on striving. I'ma keep on climbing. I'ma keep on grinding. Is it hard to find me when my shine is blinded? What's the point in hiding? I'm a motherfucking diamond. The angels on both sides of the road. Over this shit, being sober and shit. I can worry about tomorrow when I'm older and shit. I've been standing at the edge and looking over the cliff. I feel the more rush on my heart, it's just the colder it gets. When I go for the goal, I end up throwing the pick. Might relapse to old habits and go on the bench. Keep my chin up and I flex when I'm going through shit. It's called a mask. If you're depressed, you know what it is. Nope, fuck that, not today. Rather find a way instead of hide away. And from my brain full of shit till my mind decays, and let apathy consume on my face. I'm a harbinger when I'm on the hard liquor. People wanna show me sympathy, but I know when a part of it. Fans think I'm rude when I don't respond, but they don't understand what I've been on. I'm far beyond the small talk. I don't let the ball drop. I don't think I even really wanna be a rapper, but I'm on one. I better stop while I'm ahead. Think it's attention, it's got to my head. I bit off more than I'm able to chew. I never stop climbing to check out my view. I wore a mask on to hide my depression while dying inside behind happy expressions. I see life through a different perspective. I don't see my past when I see my reflection. I'm far from my goal, but I'm making progression. These thoughts can eat you alive if you let them. I used to clown and joke when I was down the road, but thank God that I linked up with down for hope. That thought my sound was dope, I almost found a rope and put around my throat. But no, I'ma keep on striving. I'ma keep on climbing. I'ma keep on grinding. Is it hard to find me when my shine is blinded? What's the point in hiding? I'm a motherfucking diamond. The angels on both sides of the road. Sides